is something that you describe in terms of the president's mindset that stuck with me in a way that I feel like it resonates as very true, and I can't quite put my finger on how it works. And it's about the birtherism thing, about what you describe as his obsession with President Obama and his sort of almost desperate need to undercut President Obama in some way. And you said that in the book that the president didn't necessarily actually believe that President Obama was born in a foreign country, but he liked the effect that it had for him to advance this theory. On page 114 of the book, you said he liked doing things like that, quote, the more divisive the better, because it would arouse strong feelings for those who took his side. I think a lot of us observing the Trump presidency have seen how incredibly divisive he is, how he tries to pit people against each other whenever he can. Why does that redound to his advantage? How does that work in his favor?
Donald Trump is like a cult leader, and he's very Stalinistic in the fact that he repeats things over and over and over again with the theory that if you continuously say the same thing over and over, people will start to believe it. I talk about a lot of his sort of proclivities and the things that he thinks and how he thinks. If you look at just the books that have come out recently, Mary Trump's book, Stephanie Winston Wolkoff's book, my book, it's kind of like the trifecta of truth. We all seem to be pointing to the same thing. He is devoid of empathy. He doesn't care what he says. He doesn't care who gets hurt so long as he wins. And when he saw that his poll numbers and his popularity and the number of times that he's gracing the front cover of the newspaper is increasing, he just added on to it. All of a sudden, he was sending people to Hawaii to go check. That's a lie. He never sent anybody anywhere, right? He just said it, and everybody sort of bought into it. Of course, Donald Trump sent somebody. He's rich, right? Who wouldn't send somebody if you want to prove your point? Well, Donald Trump didn't do it because he didn't want to spend the money, and he didn't believe it. His hatred for Barack Obama is plain and simple. He's black. He went to Harvard Law. He graduated the top of his class. He's, incredibly articulate, and he's all the things that Donald Trump wants to be, right? And he just can't handle it. So what do you do if you can't handle it? And you're Donald Trump, you attack it. The same way he attacks my credibility all the time, right? All of a sudden, I've become a convicted liar. Well, why am I the liar, right? At the end of the day, who did I lie for when I lied to Congress? I lied for the benefit of and at the direction of Donald J. Trump. So, again, very much like the very first question when we started, why am I the one who's taking all of the, responsibility? I took my own responsibility, but now it's time for him and his sons and Alan Weisselberg and all of the other people that were involved. It's time for them to now face the consequences. It shouldn't just be me.
When you say that you were directed to lie to Congress by him, were there people who conveyed that message to you directly? Are there people who were involved in basically getting you to lie to Congress or telling you to lie to Congress who should also be held accountable for that?
Well, all those names have already come out. So the answer to that is emphatically yes. They changed the document. It was all part of a joint defense agreement. Many of these recordings that you're going to hear on other stations have been given to that station and to the moderator by the Trump Organization and Don Jr. and others. Look at the way that they behave. He behaves exactly the way that I described him. He's like a mob boss. If you cross him, you're going to get it. And he's going to inflict as much pain and as much damage as he possibly can. The problem is you can't damage me anymore. As I write in my prologue, I'm broken. To be away from my family for what? To lose my law license, my business, finances, my family's happiness. What do you think that you're going to do with your ridiculous tweets, right? And by the way, in his tweet of today, as I pointed out, he doesn't even spell properly. Liar is L-I-A-R. If you're going to call me something, at least have the decency to spell it right.
Over time, do you feel like his sentience has declined, what you're describing there in terms of him spelling, or the way that he speaks, the way that he sometimes has trouble with words. Has that changed over time? Is he the same person when he speaks now that you recognize from your time working with him for all those years?
He's not the same person that I knew going back years ago. He was always gruff. He was always a certain way. But the power that he now has gone to his head. He wants to be an autocrat. He wants to be the president of this country for life. He wants to be just like Putin, just like Kim Jong-un, just like Maduro. He wants to be just like Mohammed bin Salman. He craves this. He doesn't want to run for president. And that's why he says, well, what about 12 more years, 12 more years? He's not joking. Understand, Donald Trump doesn't have a sense of humor. He doesn't laugh. He doesn't tell jokes. He doesn't have a sense of humor. He means it when he says it. And my book is intended to really open the eyes of the 38% base of his, that no matter what Donald Trump does, it's acceptable to them. And he doesn't care, and they don't care. And he wasn't joking again when he said that he can kill someone on Fifth Avenue and get away with it. He means it.
Okay, just ahead, I have one last question for Michael Cohen, which is about his corroboration of reporting about President Trump that has reportedly put the White House in a bit of a panic for a solid week now. Michael Cohen is in a unique position to potentially be able to corroborate that reporting. I'm going to ask him about that when we come back. Don't go away.